Hey everyone, so today we're going to do an encaustic painting. We're starting with a wooden canvas here and some clear, semi-clear with a little bit of red wax. And we're just doing multiple coats, rotating the canvas to get to make sure there's kind of even coverage and not a buildup on one side. And then I'm coming in with the torch to kind of fuse all that together and melt it into the board. At this point, there was a little bit of the wood grain sticking through, so I came through with an extra coat or two of wax just to build up that first layer. Yeah, here we are just doing that second coat, or third coat, coming in with the torch again, fusing it to the board. And then I'm going to come in with a scraper and just flatten that wax surface, just so I get a better surface to start working on. This is completely personal preference, but for this one I wanted a flat surface. So one thing when you are scraping the painting down each time, it's not a big deal at this point, but once you start to get paint on there, you want to remove the wax every couple of scrapes from the scraper, or else it's going to streak across maybe an area of the painting you don't want it to be on. So now I'm going in with oil sticks, and I'm just blocking in some of the colors that I see in the reference photo. Not keeping too strictly to them, and because I want it to be kind of more vibrant than the photo is. So this is going to be an extremely loose painting without a lot of detail, and just kind of an impressionistic painting, so it's going to be pretty quick. So I'm coming in with another layer of wax here and then torching that, and so that kind of binds the oil to the previous layer of wax. And now I'm scraping it again in each direction. This is just my preference, but I find it keeps the painting flat instead of always coming from one side every time. You'll end up with a kind of thicker side and a thinner side. There you can see a little bit of the shine that comes up after you start to scrape it. So I feel like it brings back more vibrancy in the colors too after you've kind of coated it in wax. It can get dull sometimes. So I'm just coming in with another coat of oil sticks here. That's one of the beauties of this, working with the encaustic and the oil sticks together too. You don't have to wait. There's no drying time. It's safe to coat it right away and start another layer without having to wait for oil paint to dry. So here I am, another layer, and the same thing. You'll see I repeat this process quite a bit throughout this painting. But I'll come through with a coating that'll add a certain amount of depth in with the slight red pigment in the clear coat, and then I'll scrape that down to some degree to bring back areas where I want more of that vibrancy back again, and as well to smooth out the surface again. So I came in with a small torch there to see how that would work, but I think anything of any size, or any time you're wanting to work the whole surface, it's pretty important to have the larger size propane torch or map, whatever torch. So here I am coming in and just trying to get some of my values better, because it was kind of, everything was a little bit light. So I'm coming in with the dark blue. And then that's actually yellow, so I laid down the blue first, the dark blue, and then I just went straight in with yellow, and you can see it kind of mixed here and there green. Another thing I like about the oil sticks is if you press really hard, you'll get the original color that you're laying down without a mix, so in this case yellow. But if you press kind of lighter, you'll get a mix of the underlying color and the yellow together, making green, so you can kind of yeah, mix your colors right on your painting, and saves a lot of time. So here I am, obviously doing another layer of wax, and the tedious process of scraping it again. And all my bits of wax, I keep one of those small muffin trays in the on the hot plate, and then I just put all my lumps of wax into a new muffin tray section, and it'll give me a new color to after the wax hardens. I just pop it out and I have a new stick of wax paint to work with. And in case you're wondering, the box on the left is just for safety for my cat who likes to jump in wax when I'm not around. So the box is, yeah, just to keep anybody away from the hot stuff. So yeah, I'm just going in with another layer of details and refining some of the colors and values, and another coat of wax again. And so it was about that point that I realized that I kind of had gotten too thick with the oil, and I lost all of my canvas color, or my my kind of light orangey pink color in the background there. And so I realized I wanted to bring some of that back. And so at this point I started getting really aggressive with the scraper, and scraping right down, in some cases almost back to the canvas, or to the first coat. And that gives you kind of an opportunity to kind of rework some areas. So I'm coming in again with some darker values, and trying to get that right, because I feel like it was just becoming a bit muddy. And I like the look of the kind of the canvas showing through. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity to play with, like, the texture on the wax surface itself, and how hard you're pressing with the oil to either go into the crevices of all the bumps in the wax, or to just kind of sit on the surface and leave the kind of layered look. Yeah, so there was I believe my second final coat, I believe, of wax there, and I'm fusing it again, scraping it again. You definitely do not have to work in this way. You can work any way you want with this wax, but aside from the important part of fusing it together, just so your painting will last, but you don't have to scrape as much as I am, or at all for that matter. You can just let it build up as much as you want and get as lumpy as you want. I just happen to like it for this one. So you can see then I got really aggressive and tore out some more chunks out of the painting, right back down to the original, and back in again with another coat. And at this point, I believe this is my final coat on the oil, and I don't do a final coat on the wax. You totally can, but I feel like it takes some of the vibrancy out of the color. So in this case, I just decided to leave it at that with the oil on the top coat. Oh, yeah, that's wrong. I came in with one more coat of wax, but you can see here I ran out of, you can see all my wax sitting in the paintbrush there, waiting for it to melt, because I ran out of clear coat. So in the meantime here, I couldn't resist keep working on it, so I was using some of the actual wax colors as opposed to the oil sticks, and I'm just Again, adding some more color. Adding in some reds. I realized I got really thick in certain points with those reds, so scraping those out. And here's another coat of wax. And a torch. And so on that torching, I left it pretty long, and trying to get you a view, although it didn't work too good. Torching it a bit long, and what that can do if you're not careful is the whole painting will start moving on you, because the whole thing will turn liquid again. So it can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you're trying to do, but it can be pretty unpredictable. So if you're happy at all with your painting, I'd advise just being really careful about how long you're torching for. This was pretty experimental, so I was interested to see what happened. But so here again, I'm coming in really aggressively. You can see there's a giant chunk missing out of the middle there from the scraper, so I'm just really aggressive at this point, trying to get some interesting kind of layers coming through all the way through the different stages of the painting. And personally, I think that's what makes this the most interesting, is being able to carve away and see, 6 layers deep into the painting, and kind of the different colors you'd laid down at different times, and leaving some of the top layers and gouging out some of the lower layers. So you can really see that here, where I'm digging down straight to the base layer. But you kind of get mixes all throughout that, where it blends between the top coat and the bottom coat. And then I think here's where I was mistaken earlier, and I'm coming in with my final coat of oil sticks now. Patching that middle hole where I went too deep with scraper. So that's another nice thing about this medium with the wax, is you can always just kind of patch stuff and stick things in. If you tear out a chunk, you can just stick it back in and fuse it back, or paint over it as many times as you want. So there's a lot of flexibility if you're to kind of experiment or try things and not be scared of wrecking something. So that's pretty kind of liberating, and allows you to kind of try different things. So I'm calling this one done. It's really loose again, verging on the side of almost messy, but you can see kind of the texture on the sheen on the wax there. And here's a look at the final image. So I hope you guys liked it, and if you want to leave some comments below, thanks for watching. Okay, bye for now.